All right, we're having a big finance morning here on Ticker, or night from if you're coming from the US over on the other side of the world. But let's talk about Bitcoin. We love the world of crypto here. Now, the recent surge can be attributed to a few factors. We know Twitter and Tesla CEO, as well as Amazon's possible plan to accept the crypto, but Musk said Tesla would likely return to accepting Bitcoin payments again for vehicle purchases. We've just heard their earning reports, and despite Bitcoin mining switching to renewable energy, there's other headlines making waves today. So let's bring in Andrew Rossow. Andrew Rossow, thank you so much for joining us here on Ticker. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you so much, Brittany. It's great to be back.
Okay, so Bitcoin, we know, making headlines largely because of its mining, but now we're seeing renewable energy pick the waves back up. Is this a attribute to the 40,000 closing that we've seen? That's a massive turnaround just from what we've seen even in the past month.
You're absolutely right, Brittany. Yeah, this is exciting, and I think it's a great way to connect the dots here and say, look, with a great week of finance, we have companies like Tesla and Amazon and Twitter that are now starting to throw their hats really in the ring. So I think this surge, as you said, is a perfect fit. It's a perfect time, and what better to see more and more adoption in our industry.
Now, yesterday we reported that Amazon has plans possibly to accept Bitcoin. Now, this is all speculation at the moment, but if this is actually true, what does this mean?
This is going to be a game changer. I mean, Amazon's one of the largest companies out there, and for one of our biggest online marketplaces to say, "Hey, look, we are giving you as a consumer and even vendors another way to pay, to accept money, and accepting this as really the native currency of the internet, as Jack Dorsey says, is huge." So I think if these reports are true and the speculation turns into fact, there's a lot that we're going to be seeing from Amazon, and this is just the start.
And I love how you've mentioned Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. Now, he launched a 23.6 somewhat million dollar fund. What's the latest with this fund?
What's interesting about this is that this is one of the very few times that Jack Dorsey has publicly spoken about potentially bringing Bitcoin into the Twitter ecosphere. And with his presence at the B Word conference, recently, it's exciting to see big tech, social media saying, look, it's here, it's not going anywhere, and there is value to our community, there's value to our users. And if we can tailor it to our products and services, then that's the direction we're going to go. So very, very exciting to hear this.
Now, it's no doubt that getting a hold of Bitcoin is becoming more accessible despite the price range there. But should investors be wary that perhaps crypto is actually treated differently to other stocks and funds? We know that crypto is a separate avenue there, but should investors actually know the risk here?
Absolutely, Brittany. And you bring up a great point, especially if we're talking, here in the States and federally, the IRS and tax reporting. This is a volatile space. That's been made clear. But at the same time, because of how the IRS has classified digital currencies as property, there's different rules here that apply. So there is always a risk. And that is why bookkeeping is so crucial to what we as business owners do on a daily basis with this digital currency.
Okay, and moving on to the world of sport. Now, we know that a few major players, want to accept their salary in Bitcoin. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening in this space?
Sure. And, I'm excited to say that, come tomorrow, we're going to see some even more exciting news in the realm of sports because we're starting to see professional athletes, professional football players, NFL players that are saying, look, we want to take our salaries and convert either a portion of it or the whole thing into Bitcoin because of the discrepancies in how athletes are paid and their excitement for understanding a new way of finance and to better manage their finances. This is such a wonderful opportunity for the organizations and the athletes themselves, Brittany.
I mean, you never would have imagined this a few years ago. You know, all of our eyes are watching the Olympics at the moment. It's crazy to think maybe by the next Olympics in Paris, more Olympians even and major athletes will accepting Bitcoin in their pockets instead of cash and major sponsorship. So I think that's massive news there. Thank you so much for your time today, Andrew. We love having you on and talking Bitcoin, one of our favorite topics on Ticker.
Thank you so much for having me, Brittany. It was a pleasure.